need you to cue. You gotta cue me.
I was strolling all
Go.
along.
All right. What's up, guys? This is the third episode of Baffling Black Spirit. We're here today to discuss some very, very chunky details and topics. Starting off with the Siege and Node Wars that just happened last night. We'll be moving to Kuno and Ninja Awakenings. And then we're going to make our way and exiting with the new Dark Elf footage with character creation and some minor gameplay, possibly a new trailer and information. So first off, I'm going to let the GMs introduce themselves. Starting from the top, we got Dot.
Hello there. I am Dot from Critical.
All right, next up is the GM of Barcode.
Hello, everyone. This is John Madden of BDO Community. Welcome to Node Wars.
And third up on the list is the Vice GM of Iconic, V.
I am V from Iconic.
All right, just relax. Next up, we got our two other guests. We got Jody Hyrola from FML, the Ninja, who will be discussing the Ninja Awakening class. And then we have Mio from Web Shrouds, the Konoichi. If you two want to introduce each other or one another yourselves.
What's up, Jody? The ninja.
Hey, this is Mio, the Kuno.
And then we also got representing Man Up. We can't have Lakari here for right now, but we got Shaq. Shaq, you want to say anything?
Hi.
Perfect. So, as you all know, since last Sunday and Wednesday, we've been talking a lot about Siege Wars. We've been talking about the hype that's been going on. We've been discussing all the speculations, all the playthroughs, and today's the big day. We discuss and help review what happened last night. Now, it's a big Siege War. It's the first open Siege War since server merge, and I'm going to pose a question to V first, the Vice GM of Iconic. So tell me how it went. What was the details?
I think a lot of people know how it went. It was a 2v5 on our part. It was Iconic and one friendly guild versus Support, Critical Fortune, Black Rose, and Audacity. And we had a lot of fun. Like, it was obviously out of our comfort zone a little bit. We, coming from Orwin, didn't get a huge Zerg PvP, but our guys did really well. Our friendly guild was taken out pretty quickly by 80 guys of support. So we were hit by 200, 300 people for almost an hour. And I'm really proud of my guys. I'm sure a lot of people saw us and they're like, hey, you guys did great for what you faced. And yeah, we had a lot of fun. We're looking forward to next week. So
Now, my question is for you. When you guys found out that that huge alliance was against you, how did you guys take it at first?
we had information, like, we knew that there were going to be at least 3 guilds in that alliance.
hmm
But after we figured out some of the other unknowns, I don't know. We were obviously it's a lot of people to fight against. But I don't think we were too worried. Like, we were just gonna take it as it was. It was a great fight. And yeah, we thought we had a chance still.
So, if let's say hypothetically here, if it was not the five guild alliance, and let's say it was probably two or three, do you guys think you would have been able to hold out a lot longer, probably pull the victory?
Oh, even if it was 3 guilds, we thought like 3 to 4 even. Just I think support really carried the alliance there. No offense to all of the other guilds, but support had an 80-man pull. They merged with an Orwin guild that was one of our competitors. And even if they just were down support, we could have probably won that one.
So how do you feel about having support merge with a previous competitor?
I knew that GM and I knew their officers. I was a little surprised that happened. But they seem happy, so I still talk to them all the time. They're having fun in there.
Now, I know we also have critical GM in here. Dot. Dot. How how do you feel about the proceedings of last night's Siege Wars here, especially going up against Iconic, a big guild that everybody knows about? They've been a talk of the server. How was it for you and your guild and your alliance facing them?
Well, for us, it actually didn't really come as a huge surprise. We're used to always fighting alone or with only another guild or two.
Hmm.
In Eden, we only fought with support and guild guy, and then Hostile joined us towards the end of the Eden um, server. They had joined us for the fights, and we tried to compete on the higher level that Man Up and Gravity were competing on. Um, to a lesser avail, we know we're not nearly as strong as them, but we are certainly trying to get better, trying to be competitive, trying to go out there, give the good fights, just have fun. To a lot of us, it's just a game. We're a community, so we really focus on that aspect. We don't really place a huge aspect on everybody's name. Actually don't know a lot about Iconic. I personally don't keep up with a lot of the server wide talk, more or less, between a lot of different guilds. So I actually did not know too much about Iconic, nor about anything dealing with Orin or Uno. I didn't know a whole lot of information on that. So I usually don't like to psych myself out that way. I like to take it until I can, fight the guilds myself, see how they are, and go from
Right,
there.
right. Fair enough. You had in your alliance there. You had was you critical support Black Rose, if I'm correct, and who are the two other guilds?
So in order for me to clear this up,
Hmm.
the alliance that we had just joined at Server Merge, we actually had not been in an alliance for over a month and a half, maybe 2 months going on now. We actually have not been fighting in any alliances. But come Server Merge, we were reached out to by Black Rose and vice versa. We reached out and we started talking to them. It was us, Black Rose, Fortune, Provoke, and Odd Jobs. However, Provoke and Odd Jobs have now merged into one guild, forming Audacity, I believe is their name now. It is
Right.
Audacity, Fortune, Black Rose, and us. Support reached out to me during Calpheon and said, "Hey, would you be willing to work together?" They wanted to see Iconic fall, at least in the battle. They want to fight and see it through to the end, regardless of the outcome that was going to happen towards them. They wanted to fight, and they decided to help us. So I accepted, and that was just that. They worked with us for the fight, but in no way was this an alliance that was formed prior. They just decided to help us on the spot because
Okay.
yeah.
All right, fair enough. And did you guys fighting against Iconic and the guild that that had on the territory with them? Did you guys have any trouble facing off against them, or and not to be rude or anything? I'm not trying to disrespect Iconic or count them out. How was the fight overall? Did it seem easy? Did you guys have trouble with pushes or anything of the sort?
I would say yes. We did have some issues. We were barely pulling roughly around 70 that night. It's one of our lighter showings. We were pulling roughly about 70 mid fight. The number only went up a few more as the night went on. So we weren't confident number wise if we could take them on. We had no idea about their strength. Like I said earlier, we had no idea about their strength, so we were going in this just completely blind as their true strength, and they certainly showed it. They are very strong. When they made coordinated, calculated pushes, they certainly wiped us. Had we had less of a showing, it would have been even worse for us. But overall, I think it was a very fun fight for us. We really enjoyed it. As I know everybody else is, we're all learning from the new mechanics of the fight, and yeah, I think they definitely did good considering what they were up against.
Right, right. Thank you very much. And definitely, those new mechanic changes with the nodes and seed wars, they can be a make it or break it situation. Definitely, especially when you need a push and you happen to wipe, it's really detrimental.
Yeah,
V one.
we.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
Oh, I'm sorry. Um, we actually have not participated in sieges up until right before the server merge. We hadn't participated for about, I don't know, 2 or 3 weeks, and then the new mechanics came out, so we ourselves are still getting used to it. Um, it's certainly different, you know, with the new res timers and stuff like that. We're still getting adjusted to how we need to play, how we've got to be more smart, and you know think more on our feet every single fight we go out, especially against a lot of these stronger guilds. So
Right, right. And V, one last question for you. At any point during the warfare where you guys happen to make a huge push or get a wipe off, was there any at any point that you guys saw an opportunity to take out at least one guild?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, um, like the critical GM said, like they had a lighter pull. Like it's finals week. A lot of our guys are in Q4. We only had 84 guys, which is almost nothing compared to 5 guilds against us. So we were definitely, a little hurt for numbers, but there were quite a couple opportunities that we took to try and push for taking out at least one or two of the enemy forts. Um, I mean, and yeah, they had 5 guilds trying to take out the biggest target, and then they were gonna face each other, and it makes sense for them to do that. But like on our side, we, I guess what we did wrong was we saw 2 or 3 opportunities to take out critical support and fortune spaces.
Hmm.
And instead, we wanted to help our allied guild, um, and probably could have capitalized that a little bit more.
Right, right. Understandable. Trying to honor alliances sometimes it can get really tedious in a sense, but it's good of you guys to do that. But
I
but
mean,
overall,
it's a great fight. So on both our parts, and we definitely enjoyed it. It was kind of a wake up call to just the status of the server, and we're gonna get better. So
definitely, definitely. Always room for improvements. And thank you very much, guys. Really appreciate it. Really, really appreciate you guys answering those questions. Uh, before we move on, I the FML GM Prue said he would not be available for this interview tonight, but he does send his regards and to all the other guilds, congratulations as well that won their battle last night, and for those that fought well. Next, we will be moving on to Naria. Hi.
Hello. All right. I think before we actually go into more siege details, we do have to kind of recap on what actually got changed in Region Wars because a lot of people aren't aware that there has been a lot of things that actually changed, even just other than res timers.
Oh yes.
And one of the
Mm.
things that actually changed, just for the sake of record, is that the wooden fences and doors got a lot tankier than what we were used to. And so just being able to place on a region, even if you have showing of maybe 4 or 5 people, it makes it a lot harder for the other guild to wipe that fort. And one of the reasons a lot of the other guild actually was able to survive for a lot longer is just the fact that we just couldn't get into that base. Um, we had pretty good showing on yesterday's siege. We fought FML mainly, and Gravity came onto our base multiple times, and we had to clear our base, go back and forth between defensive and offensive. And just the fact that building structures got a lot tankier was enough for FML to hold out as long as they did to be able to give us huge rest timers, making the siege about 2 3 hours long. And every time we wiped, we had to wait for like a minute or two, just waiting for us to be able to revive.
That must have been rough. I did see that there was a few times that Gravity kind of sent a small force over to your base to try and put you guys on defensive there a little bit because I was able to catch both the Man Up versus Gravity and the Barcode versus FML fight, and it was really interesting to see. And yes, the rest timers are really a big change as well as the wooden fences and the gate. But do you feel like the gate is somewhat weaker than the wooden fences?
We certainly experienced the gate being a lot weaker in the past, so we actually went for it. We were able to melt it down in about 30 seconds last time, but this week it was just completely different. We had about 70 to 80 people hitting on FML's wooden gate for about 10 minutes, more so than 10 minutes, and it just barely went down. And we needed our elephants, we needed our horses. We really need to consider the counters to each structures now. So what we thought, it was wrong, and we learned this time around we would be making the same mistakes again. But at the same time, I'm not sure what we have to do before those elephants are out, before those horses are out. So things are still, as critical GM has mentioned, we are still in that learning process to kind of figure out what we have to do in that first 10 minutes where we don't have rest timers, but we have combat prowess over other guilds.
Right.
Eh,
Yes, go ahead.
Fences are very, very strong.
Yes,
They
they are.
have a lot of health. Last night, we actually, right before the battle ended, we went ahead and tested. I rounded up the entire guild. We focused down a single wall. Took us roughly a minute and a half to 2 minutes to burn it down, and that was unabated. And then bringing in the elephants. Elephants roughly take around 30 to 40 seconds with charge to kill one. So they are very, very strong. And it does actually change up the dynamic of the battles just trying to get into a fort.
Um, before we continue, Aki, could you go ahead and pull up some of the FML versus barcode clip if you have them available? Um,
Morelands?
yes, more from Moreland's point of view. Now, Naria, I saw that you guys, when you guys were fighting FML, you guys spent majority of that node war versus them, the siege war versus them on the offensive with them. Now, it looked like to me that FML did not have a huge turnout tonight. So, besides from the structured tankiness, do you feel like they did well for having the lesser numbers than you guys throughout that entire fight?
That's actually an interesting question. I think just the fact that they were able to show up for a fight yesterday night just proves that they are confident enough players in this server. And it was unfortunate that some other guilds didn't even show up. You can, as you know, media went uncontested, and hint hint, wink wink, we're gonna go next kind of thing. But yeah, FML definitely. I am aware they're down in numbers. They initially chose to be a guild of 70, and on top of that, situations happen. And what I hear was that they had number of 50 or so fighting yesterday night. And I think from my experience, for player, I could definitely feel that barcode players outgear them heavily. When we smashed into each other's guild, it was much easier for our guild to go into their back line rather than their front lines to come into our front line and CC and all that kind of good PvP-ness. So FML definitely a guild to be noted, but I think in terms of gear war, the servers that had free farm for the last 9 months are ahead, and that is something that FML has to work towards either by filling up numbers or by making sure that they fight on even terms.
Right. And I saw that there was a few times that when you guys were able to wipe majority of their forces and you guys made a small push into their base. But as their rest timers were starting to come up, you guys pulled back to regroup. And if I can find the clip here, I can show it to you guys. There was a point where you guys were attempting to make a push into the base, and FML did something that I personally I thought it was really a strategic move to do by using the two elephants that they had to guard the entrance of the base and using four chop to kill a lot of you guys at that point. How do you feel about that?
That is pretty smart move that they did. But I think majority of the times when we had to actually pull back to our base was when gravity was hitting us in our base. As you
Right.
know, an empty base is gonna go down super fast, and we had no choice but to pull back on most of the times. FML did their best to be able to put down another fence, wooden fence door, as well as elephants parked in front of them to kind of block us from coming in. But I think in terms of what it actually did, I think the elephants are a lot more useful breaking down fences. Four chop does not do a lot of damage, but what really helped FML wipe us from their base is when their rest timers were up, when they revive immediately and they get that 8 seconds window of invincibility. That's the reason why you have to pull out of bases that are going down, because as soon as people revive, we can't do anything to them, and they can do a lot of damage to our players without taking any risk of going back down again.
Right, right. Give me 1 second. I'm gonna grab this clip so you guys can see exactly what I'm talking about here. And throughout when the last push here, I think we also have that clip as well. We can play that. When you guys finally got before you guys finished them off, you guys got the wipe on them. You guys ran in. I noticed that they had a couple wizards on top of the defenses. Actually, quite a few and rangers as well, and they were just peppering you guys from above. And it was just, and the witches and wizards were casting chain lightning. You don't see too many of that in a lot of the siege wars and the node wars that you recently started experiencing since the server merge, with especially with the changes. I think personally, in my opinion, that's a really good strat for a lot of guilds to start using if they're not already using it. You know, especially since they're at such a high elevation, they can easily cast their skill and take minimum damage in a sense, and provide a lot of support to their comrades.
Yeah, that definitely was a thing with the actual siege towers. The thing that I noticed with wooden fences was that a lot of the rangers or ranged characters could actually just shoot directly back. And we have a lot of rangers, and they are extremely geared. If the people watching the stream today, if you've ever experienced a level 3 tearing arrow getting shot at you full charge, you know what that feels like. It feels like someone's hacking. And there was 50 of us shooting them down from their fence as soon as they were going up to that little wooden fence. So in terms of countering that, that is actually pretty easy to counter, in my opinion. Of course, there are some other guilds that really mainly focus their composition to be frontliners, and therefore you don't really have that ability to shoot the priority targets down from the fence. Um, but it definitely is a good strategy against a lot of the frontline heavy guilds. As warriors, sorks, they don't really have good ways to put them down from the fence, and they can fully DPS. And right, if you look at when we're trying to finally DPS the fort down at the end, all of their AOE ranged classes are up there on top of the fence, literally peppering us down. And that was when we decided to, hey, screw these guys. We have to really get this fort down. Otherwise, gravity's going to be in front of us again. We got to finish this fight and move on to the next target. So, good strategy for melee heavy guilds against guilds like Iconic, Barcode, Vision, whatever other guilds that are out there. A lot of guilds are actually huge ranger composition. Um, they will be able to counter it as long as someone shouts it out and says, "Hey, we need to take care of that." So that's what I feel about that wooden fence play.
Right, right. Thank you. It seems that we might have another special guest here. Aki's going to go ahead and pull the video, and you guys can see what I was referring to with the elephant defense at the front gate. Let's go ahead and get our other guest in here real quick. Can we generate a link for him?
Yeah.
Now.
Yeah, I'll send it to you.
Thank you very much.
Ba-da-ba, ba-da-ba-da. Send the link.
Panda, you need
Yeah.
a specific video up?
Yes, that specific video that I linked to with the elephant defense on FML's part.
You mind just
Tell
coming
me
back,
when you
grab
need
that
me to
hand
drag
real-
them in.
All right, he's going and coming in right now.
Oh, I got it.
Sorry about
really
this,
glad-
guys.
I'm really glad you explained the differences, the changes in the Siege Wars, because last week was my first experience with it all. So it was nice to know what differences there were.
Yeah, same here.
Did I give you the wrong thing? Yes, hello.
Hey, what's up?
How you doing? Could you go ahead and please introduce yourself and tell us what guild you're from?
Yeah, I'm Verle. I'm an officer of Gravity. I used to be in Man Up, but now I'm in Gravity.
All right, thank you very much.
Welcome.
And welcome to the
Welcome.
stream. Welcome him. It's Lorelai from Gravity. He's an officer in Gravity, as you said.
Thanks for coming.
Yeah, I help with like siege preparation and stuff.
All right, awesome. as you guys can see here from Marlon's point of view, you'll see the elephants, two elephants in the front gate. One of them does go down, but they also have the other one there guarding, kind of in a sense, guarding the front gate and using four chop and charge to take down a lot of the enemies that we're trying to push through. And I personally thought it was a really nice play on their part. It really bought them some time to try and try and hold out a defense and rebuild whatever they could at the time. But alas, it was not enough. Now, Lorelai, since you're in here, while we're on the subject of FML, I
Yeah.
noticed that you guys sent out a small force to try and pull barcode off of FML's base at multiple times on multiple occasions. What was that about?
So it's pretty obvious at the beginning of the siege that Manap and Barco were going to work together. We knew that going into the siege. Basically, keeping FML alive was pretty much our only shot because we assumed that once FML was dead, that we were just going to get 2v1. So, we were in contact with FML and they basically told us, like, we need some help alleviating pressure. So we came. Anytime we could get man up off our base, we went and tried to help out. But then we had to fully wipe and then come back to base because, like Orca said, if you're not at your base, it drops really, really quickly. So
Right.
we're trying to fight on two fronts. There was a situation before siege where basically what happened is guilds were placed in Valencia in certain spots. I don't know if they were paid or whatever, but they basically blocked all the spots that are pretty decent. So we were forced into kind of a position closer to a safe zone. Because of that, man up, who was placed on the complete opposite side of the map, could pretty much just spawn behind us the whole time. So right off the bat, we were in a pretty bad situation, but yeah, what do you do?
How your guild overall? Did you guys feel when when you guys were facing Man Up and they made several pushes into your base? Where they, I wouldn't say they essentially wiped all of you, but they wiped a good majority of your forces. And Aki, if you can bring up the clip of Zitian's point of view with one of the pushes that they did into Man Up space, it should be one of the first videos. What was going through your guys' mind? What was your thoughts throughout that?
Well, yeah, Man is definitely strong. We felt they basically had a position probably about 150 meters south of our base where they would just keep grouping up. Every time we would take out a chunk of them before the rest of them wiped, they would just all go back, heal, regroup. So it was pretty much relentless pressure. We were also trying to send people over to FML. We were trying to repair the base. We were trying to set up cannons. We were trying to go get their cannons. So we kind of had to have our forces split amongst like 5 or 6 different things.
Sounds juggled a lot.
Yeah. But yeah, man up strong. Like there's no doubt about it.
Okay. Aki, there's something that I want to discuss with you too, since you're here. And before we get into that, Aki, could you go ahead and pull up the second push that Man Up made onto Gravity's base, where they had to pull out as well,
Do you think you
and
can
Gravity
hit that
was
to me
able
again?
to make a push? It's in active topics. I do have a message here from Gravity's GM, Mental Tormented, and he says the fight was fun. However, we were constantly outnumbered when we fight. Yesterday, FML and us equaled to 145, while Barcode and Man Up, assuming they had a decent turnout, had about 180. On every node, war, and siege, we are outnumbered. It is a recurring theme now, honestly. Now, being a person that handles siege and node wars preparations, do you feel as if there's some truth in there in this one? Do you see that happening quite frequently?
I mean, I don't want to like go deep into it, but it does seem like every week it's not just. I mean, we had some pretty good fights since merge, where like we had one against Iconic. It was a straight up 1v1. But like the
Super fun.
first day of Node Wars, there was 12 guilds placed on O's path, I think.
Mm-hmm.
And we were again like there was nowhere to build. Everything was already taken. So we were forced to build next to a safe spot. We were like, fuck it, whatever, we'll just do it. And even in that fight, when there was like 11 guilds, we had man up behind us and LOTD in front of us. It was pretty obvious they were working together because they were coordinating their pushes. So, I mean, we've been doing it for a while. When I was in man up, the same thing happened. Man up had to fight outnumbered a lot of the time. It just seems like a lot of guilds are more worried about winning. So they'll do what they got to do to win, right? Obviously.
Do you think it's a matter of overcompensating, thinking that you're maybe bigger than what you are? Like, oh, that's gravity. Because, I mean, you do carry a heavy name.
I think more of it is just like people don't like gravity for whatever reason. Everybody has their reasons, I guess. So it seems like gravity gets a little bit targeted for some shit, but I guess it's fine. Like, we don't mind. Nobody really
With your
has a problem with it.
reputation, with your
True.
reputation, you would be a little bit intimidating to go against, I would have to think.
I would think so, yeah. But I mean, everybody knows man up is strong, so I don't know why they have to bring like 4 guilds every week.
Now, with that being said, now you mentioned that you were previously in Man Up. Did you feel the same way uh, with the events that transpired beforehand when you were in Man Up? Being outnumbered, uh, the guild people, some people hating the guild, some people liking the guild. How is that like for you? Because I know you were an officer in the guild and you did the same thing as you're doing now in Gravity, in a sense.
Yeah, the same thing definitely happened in Man Up. Like when I was in Man Up, we were getting zerged by other people too, and we had the same situation. Like we were going up, whatever, like 1v3, 4 sometimes.
Right, right.
It's just something that happens, right? You got to deal with it. However, you're gonna deal with it.
I think
True, true.
it's safe to say it's the nature of the game. You know, some
Yep.
days
When I was in Man Up, like one of my jobs was like hiring guilds to either just place to block a spot, because if they don't actually finish building, then I mean the spot's taken. So like that's a lot of what I did in Man Up. So I know it's happening. A lot of people don't know it, but it happens, right?
Dot, you said something a second ago. That's the nature of the game. Keep going with that.
Oh, right. So I mean, it is kind of the nature of the game. You know, some days you outnumber them, some days you're outnumbered. Whether it be through gear or sheer numbers, you know, it happens. It's certainly something that you'll always be facing as a guild.
What would you say is the best sort of advice to try to deal with that every day? That everyday challenge of who's online and who comes up to the fight and all that.
You've got to build for it. You've got to build it from the ground up. You've got to look for people that want to be there, that want to be there for the wars that you're looking to actually make an impact in. I'd say.
All right, sweet. On.
And then you just build off of that, and then you know you just keep recruiting people that want to compete in siege wars and stuff.
Definitely, definitely. And Shaq, I know we doing you guys last, and I do apologize for that. You must be bored out your mind. But as the guild, as a high ranking officer in Man Up, and as you participated in yesterday's Siege War, how did you feel the guild did overall versus Gravity? A very strong guild at that too, as well.
I think we did all right. We went into the siege with bringing in Barcode, and it was kind of an agreement that Barcode would take care of FML, and they would let us 1v1 Gravity. I don't know. We've been doing sieges for how many months now, and we've never actually had like a 1v1 against Gravity, so we kind of wanted to get that out of the way. And I mean, it went well. Like Gravity, I can't. I'm not gonna fucking take anything away from them. They probably are the best siege guild. They they don't have the highest AP on all of their members. They don't have maybe the most skilled members, but as far as just pure sieging tactics, the way they can turtle a base, like no one can really touch them. Uh, you give them a 2-minute window and they have all of their walls back up, their forts being rebuilt. Like I don't know, no other guild can really pull off what they pull off. So it was a fun 1v1. They're definitely, we fought Barcode open fight which I think Barcode is stronger than Gravity in just an open fight. And we fought Gravity in their base, and I think Gravity is a much stronger siege oriented guild.
Mhm.
So I don't know. It's an interesting, I guess, dynamic between all the different guilds. I think Man Up is kind of, I don't know. We're high AP, a lot of good players, decent at sieging. So I don't know. It's just kind of like it worked in this situation.
And
Would
I
you,
know that you guys recently did a merge with the Relevant Guild, and you guys picked up a lot of strong players.
Mhm.
And one of them being here, he's a guy that we have on the POV of Zithian, who's a warrior. And throughout the entire duration of those fights, I noticed him making a lot of heavy plays. And I mean, a lot of really good ultis, especially the one here in this clip where you guys were trying to make an attempt at a push inside the base, and he came in with a 100%. And by the time he finished the animation, there was just a flood of deaths in the kill feed on the Gravity side. What do you think about that? You know, a lot of key players in your guild, especially him being one of them throughout the entire fight.
Yeah, I mean, Man Up's always had a problem where we chose friends over actual, I guess, the right player. So with Relevant merging in, we got a lot of really solid players, and Zethian is a perfect example. He knows how to optimize Warrior in Siege. I haven't, fought against him 1v1 or really seen what he can do 1v1 that much. But as far
Mhm.
as Siege, like you can't really deny he knows what he's doing. The way he can kite, the way he uses his ult, like it's just, I don't know. There's really only a handful of warriors, and Barcode's got a few. We have a few. Gravity's got a few, but not many warriors can, you know, play like that. Manage to
De-
stay alive, get big fucking ults off, and big grave diggers, but mainly staying
Definitely.
alive.
And he does show an example for a lot of how warriors should be, especially in large scale PvP. He may not be the greatest warrior out there, and may not have the highest AP, but is being able to listen, pay attention, make the right plays when you need to, and pull back is part of the key thing about being an asset to a guild or to a fight. And he exemplifies that right there in these clips. And there's plenty of these clips where he has made either a big gravedigger or a really big ulti that enabled his guild to be able to make a push or literally do a wipe to get some damage
Yeah.
off on the base.
And I don't want to take away from his 1v1 game. I'm sure he's great at 1v1 as well. I just more notice him in Siege when, I mean, the clip speaks for itself, kind of.
Definitely, definitely. Um, as a sorry guys, as another side note, we do have another guest entering. If we can go ahead and get him pulled down into the channel, if one of you guys can, Aki or now.
I'm on my way. Where's he
Thank
at?
you. We have. It seems that Prut has changed his mind, and he is available for our little podcast
I
today.
wonder why he changed his mind.
Hey,
So
whoa,
this
whoa,
will
now,
be good.
now. Let's not speculate.
Speculation is key, my friend. I'm waiting for him to get in so I can pull him down.
All right. Well, while we also have this. Do we have the other clip, Aki? When
The one you just sent me?
no, the one before that where Gravity made the push out of the base with the elephants.
Let's see here.
Because I want to talk to Lorelei about this too as well before
All right,
we
we
talk
got him
to
here.
FML. All right.
Is this it here? I think this is the one. with
Hello,
the
Mr.
elephant.
Prut.
Hey, what's up, gents?
Hey, how you doing?
Doing great, thank you.
Well, first off, I want to say welcome, and I hope everybody in the stream can give him a warm welcome as well. This is FML's GM, Prut. Some of you may know him, some of you may not. If you don't know him, well, you'll know him today.
What's up, brother?
Not much. Thanks for having me.
Not a problem. Welcome.
No problem. Let me go ahead and do a little shout out to all the viewers who are chiming in today. We really appreciate you guys coming. We promised you a very, very nice Sunday for discussing Siege Wars and reviewing. We got some big names in here. We appreciate everybody giving us those follows, messaging us on Twitter. So just stay tuned. We're going to continue on with this, and we got some more content for the rest of the night. All right, you can continue.
So while Aki's looking for that clip, Prude, can you give us your thoughts on last night's proceedings with the Siege War?
Oh man, it was a mosh pit. We knew that we were outnumbered by quite a bit, and if we would have had 30, 40 more people, it would have been amazing. But we held out as long as we did for 40, 45 minutes or so, and Barcode put up a pretty good fight.
Right. And do you feel as if your decision to keep the guild at a 70-man guild was sort of a hindrance in a way to your turnout for last night's big siege?
Well, FML never really set out to be a siege guild when we first started. We were part of the gigantic PRX Zerg, PRX 1, 2, 3, 4, and 65, and a lot of jokes behind that one. When I chose to break off from PRX, I wanted to start a guild that was more skill based and around friends and a really strong core. And when we decided to get into Node Wars during that time period, and this was back in August, it was still actually a little bit alive. And very shortly after, it just completely died out as guilds kept falling apart and joining bigger guilds and so on. It's just a cycle of things. And we decided to get into territories. And when we went into Serendia, I think it was like the second week, we had probably like 37 people, and we held out for almost 2 hours against Kaiokai and Critical. And it was literally fucking 200 Zerglings, man, with like 6 elephants running at you for 2 hours. It was ridiculous. And that's when we knew that we needed a friend, and that you just can't do the large scale fights in this game without numbers. I mean, I don't care how fucking good you are. If you don't have a good roster of a lot of people as well, you're just not going to accomplish stuff. And that puts a lot of pressure on a guild like FML that has lower number count to successfully be able to do offense and defense in really large scale fights like what we experienced yesterday. I mean, there's no doubt about it. And with mergers, it makes it much more difficult too, because you have all these new players and it's exciting, and people you haven't fought against before and so on. So with my guild, you have a choice of either holding out and recruiting more people, merging into other guilds, or just staying the course the way you are, and so on. So it's we didn't want to just blanket recruit, that's for sure. We wouldn't accept just one guild that says, "Hey, we want to merge with you. Let's do it." All right, no problem, fine. We had to be sure that anybody that we would be adding into our roster was somebody that was solid and that fit personality-wise as well as the gear score. And that's very difficult to do because some people don't give a shit if you're in TS or in Discord if you say anything. Just as long as you show up on Saturday and you do your stuff, no problem. But we didn't want that. We wanted people that actually fit in, that were funny, that wanted to have a good time and knew their shit. And that's really hard to come by because, I mean, look at Eden. How many fucking Spurglords there are out there that have good gear? I mean, some of them are toxic as fuck. You just don't want them on your roster, no matter what. So that's kind of where um, we ended up.
Sounds like you're making your guild sort of organic, um, like its own created nation, I would say, where you don't have to allow all that toxicity and stuff to follow. Am I right?
Yeah, and it's push and pull because you do end up with it's just human nature to when you succeed at something, you always want the next level. You don't want to ever go backwards. You don't want to stay stagnant. You always have to progress. And when you see what happened with Lakari's guild and Orca's guild yesterday combining together, something's got to change because the siege dynamic is going to become very stagnant very quickly if that doesn't happen. So there's a lot of things in the works. Just put it that way.
So a quick question on you for that. You say, when you want to get to the next level, to some of the viewers out there who are wanting to get inside of these siege wars, node wars, wanting to take it to the next level, what is some advice you would have for them to be able to apply themselves on the battlefield?
I would say the best thing that you can do is just stop playing alts.
Alt fever.
That's for sure, man. I think one of the things that people have is altitis, and in a game like this, you always have to progress your primary character if you really want to get up to the higher tier of guilds and siege. Otherwise, you're just going to get steamrolled.
Now, speaking of, let's drop back to the proceedings last night. As I mentioned earlier, you guys had a smaller force than that of Barcode. You guys did the best you could holding out. One thing that I really want to point out again, and I want to congratulate you guys for holding out as long as you guys did, but it's the elephant defense that came out of the woodworks. What was that about? The point where you guys just had two elephants guarding the front gate, and you were just four chopping and charging anybody that came through there, and you guys did kill a large number of them.
We did that because we knew that if they got into the tent area, we could just be overwhelmed, and we used them kind of as a barricade because the gate was down. And we knew that if we separated the elephants out into the open or moved them over towards one of the bases, it would have done no good. They just would have been surrounded and brought down really quickly. So we used them as a defense mechanism instead.
Right. That was a very nice play on your part, though. Really nice play, and it did buy you guys more time than it would have if you were had them out in the open. So that was really smart. Lorelai, are you still with
What's
us?
up, bud?
Hi. I don't know if we can find the clip, but this I think you might remember. There was a point where you guys were trying to you were making an attempt to push out of the base on man up, and you had one of your Zerkers initiated, but he was quickly stopped by Zetian because Zetian realized that the Zerker was coming in to do an ulti, and he quickly went back to sword and board, charged in, grabbed the Zerker. They quickly cleaned him up, but you guys had your witches that was letting out residual lightning or lightning residual and meteor and the ice storm and everything was just going out, and you guys had the elephants, you brought it out, and you guys were able to push man up out of the base. But
Yeah.
I don't know how far you guys were able to go, how far you were able to go with that particular push.
What kept happening was we can get them away from the base, but there was a really strong hill, so we couldn't really push up into the hill because we're pushing upwards and they're fighting us down. In terms of the engages, I think we definitely know we could have done better on the engages. Mana were really solid. They kept forming like a concave outside our base, so we had to funnel out of one broken wall, and they just circled it right, and it's just like a disaster. But yeah, we did our best. We have some really strong witches. I think that's like wizards and witches. We have quite a bit of them. They all know what they're supposed to be doing. Yeah, I think Mana had good engages yesterday. They definitely have been practicing their. I don't know. They have good calls. And yeah, we learned a lot. We'll get better.
Definitely, there's always room for improvements, and striving to get better is always the number one goal, especially when you experience a loss. Learn from that loss and do better next time. I noticed that you guys employed the same strat too as well with the witches and wizards on top of defenses, chain lightning.
Mhm.
It seems like
The thing with that is those walls. Once one of those walls breaks, you either run out of the wall or you try and climb and go out of the go drop down on the other side and try to regroup then. But if you have just one of those walls, you pretty much have to funnel out of it entirely. So you put your wizards and witches and rangers on top, try to push them back a little bit, give you some room to group outside.
Okay.
That's kind of the idea there.
Actually, I have a question for Gravity, because some of the plays that made yesterday kind of made me question. a lot of the times, even when Man Up was in front of Gravity's base, you guys chose to come over the barcode to hit our base. Was that to relieve pressure on FML? Could you kind of elaborate what happened there, what the decision was about?
Yeah, it was 100% go help out FML because we knew they were in trouble. Like we have scouts going around looking for cannons and stuff. We can go to FML's base and see that they're just getting, zerged pretty hard. We kept a few players back to try and keep the base alive. The problem is like with the respawn timers, if we went and we wiped the barcode's base, we kind of relieved a little bit of pressure from FML because barcode had to come back from FML's base. But like once you're at their base, you either wipe and then you have like a 40-second respawn where your base is just getting slaughtered, or you focus on what's going on at your own base. But we knew that like if FML went down, it was going to be, we thought it would be a 2v1 situation. Man Up chose not to do it, and Barcode, they wanted to 1v1 after, so that was pretty cool. But like from our understanding, we thought if FML went down, it was going to be a 2v1. So we tried to do whatever we could to keep FML
Hey, this
alive.
this is too civil. Why isn't there enough shit talking going on in here?
Nah,
There's no
we're not
shit
all
promoting
the
that
shit-
yet. We're
there's
not
no
all the shit
promoting
talking
that.
goes on in PMs.
Not yet.
Yeah,
not
that'll
yet.
that'll go somewhere else.
Yes.
I'm
This
just,
is
I'm
this
just playing.
is. So you guys were expecting the 2v1, but when you guys found out that, did you guys found out that it was going to be a 1v1 situation at the end or towards the end?
When FML went down, we knew we had, like, we're like, oh, okay, Barcode's coming, and then Barcode didn't come. So like at that point we knew. We didn't know before that we were fully ready for a 2v1.
And I know you guys looks like you guys didn't have the maximum turnout that you guys normally would for a siege. Was there at any point during the siege that you guys felt overwhelmed by the amount of pressure that Man Up was putting on you guys, or was it because of the numbers that they had compared to that of you guys?
I think so. If we weren't placed, I don't want to blame the safe zone. Like there are things we could have done better, but having the safe zone pretty close to us pretty much was constant pressure. If we did get a full wipe on Man Up, they would they just spawn at town, right? We didn't have a position to go to their base because they were very far from us. So instead of spawning at their command post, they just spawn at the town and then they regroup on the hill behind us. So it was relentless pressure. And then Barcode was also very, very close. So we felt like if we did get a wipe on Man Up, we could go and help out FML by going for Barcode's base. But like by the time we got there, Man Up's already back, right? Because early on in the siege, there's no the recovery center changes. The respawns aren't very long. It's when they get to like 40, 50, 60 seconds. That's when it gets pretty bad.
Yes, yes, and I'm sure throughout the fight that a lot of you guys, a lot of you guys on each party did probably have high res timers. I would assume so.
Yeah, I mean, for everybody, the res timers go up, right?
Some people want us to talk about the quote unquote wizard tower. Now, I have a clip up here, but I'm not exactly sure what they're talking about. So, you guys want to elaborate on that?
Wizard tower is the new siege towers that you can put up. Those like big.
It's about a wizard tower that Man Up used against gravity.
Yeah, so you can make these like siege towers now. They look like something out of Lord of the Rings. It's like a staircase that goes up, and there's different platforms you can stand on. Man Up had a really good move where they put their wizards on the top of it. You put it up against the wall. You can see down into the base, and you just drop like residual lightnings on people that are respawning or descending current or anything. It's pretty good. And the thing with those towers is they don't really go down with player damage. Like it'll take you a very, very long time to take them down with player damage. You need elephants or I don't know, something like they're pretty tanky.
And they take about 40 minutes to an hour for preparation?
Yeah, they take a long time.
I noticed that you mentioned something that I saw on was it Sundays? Yes, Sunday. I saw on Sunday. And this is the second time I'm hearing about it. What is this about? Seems to be like a recurring thing. You guys place next to a safe zone, and you guys did that on Sunday, and here it happens again on a siege war. What is that about?
So what happened Sunday? There was 12 guilds on the node. The node area was a little small. We didn't want to dodge the fight because it was the first day of siege wars, and like our guys want to fight, right? So we're not going to dodge like an 11 guild fight. That was one of the only spots that we could find. Even then, that spot was 210 meters away from LOTD's base.
Let me say something about this when you're done.
Yeah, and then for what happened yesterday, we had a different base spot in Valencia. We lifted it so that we can do some scouting. Once we went to go put it back down, it was placed again, so we couldn't take that spot. We found 3 more in the area, so we chose that spot because we're like, okay, if these are just if there was like anything special going on, we could like if there was small guilds being hired, we could just go and like take those ones out early. But yeah, we had a different spot. It was like 300 or 400 meters north of where we were. So if you spawn at the safe zone, you would actually have to pass through desert to get there, and it would take you a lot longer. It almost wouldn't be worth it.
Okay.
So I have a question. I have a question for V and Narya. Whichever one wants to go first. How did it feel with your first experience with open world? Was it what you expected?
Narya, do you mind if I go first?
Yeah, go ahead.
Well, we started on this server and we decked every guild as soon as the servers went up. And that was agreed on between some of our guys and our friends in the other guilds. And I think a lot of people on the forums and everything, they saw that we had decent war scores, which obviously it means nothing, but it just showed that we had a lot of fun PvPing in open world. And it was just so great. Like we had all of our guys are enthusiastic. They'd PvP'd all day.
Bullshit.
Oh my god, Proto.
Please don't do that.
All right, let's calm down.
I don't know. They had a lot of fun, and obviously on Sunday, we had our first Node War, where we fought Man Up, and it was great. I mean, we definitely didn't see how strong they could be with the relevant merge, but we've had a lot of fun since day one, and we're still gonna continue to PvP.
All right, Narya, if you will.
All right, now that we've
hold on 1 second, real quick. I'm having some difficulties real quick, so let me. Hold on, just. Hold on 1 second. Hold on 1 second.
That's what happens when Grill speaks.
Oh no, man! I handled that about 20 minutes before the stream. Let me
Wow.
let me I got somebody. I think I
Dude.
got a new challenger. I don't know. He's coming in out of nowhere, blowing me up. He's stating that he wants to come in. I don't know. It's getting pretty loud in here. I don't. Can you hear the footsteps? I can't. It's Lakari, everybody. Welcome aboard.
God, I
Lakari.
can't fit all these people in the thing.
How are you doing today?
My alarm didn't go off. Yeah, so I'm late.
Oh my god. I called you.
You're good. So let's cover some things. We've been discussing the sieges so far. Panda's been doing a real good job interviewing. Most of the guilds have been discussing their perspectives, point of view. So yeah, let's go ahead and move straight to your perspective, Lakari. Tell me what you thought about sieges last night.
It's pretty fun. A lot of PvP. Have to say, more PvP than I ever expected to have in Black Desert. I think it's gonna chill down now. The desert. One thing about the desert is like it's kind of hard to see people sometimes because like they just render on your screen and you're like magically right in front of them. I feel like that's one thing they should probably fix. But other than that, I have to say gravity a lot stronger than expected. Same with Barcode. Very strong defenses. Hard to break.
Now I know this has been a big thing for Gravity and FML. Not Gravity and FML, but Gravity and Man Up. There's been talks about not getting the 1v1 between both guilds, and the opportunity finally came up yesterday, and you guys had that epic 1v1. How was that like for both of your guilds, Lakari and Lorelai?
Who goes first?
Whichever one.
After this, let's go back to the question that we had asked before. I didn't mean to interrupt you guys. It was just a heat of the moment thing.
Okay, I'll go first. The 1v1 was good. Like, it's good to kind of gauge yourself against another top guild, see where you stand, see what you can improve on. You learn a lot every time you 1v1, whether or not you win or lose. Yeah, it was fun, man. Again, like, yeah, the desert sucks ass though. Holy fuck! Like, if you're on low settings, people load in like after you die. It's retarded.
I'm looking at the clips right now, and you can't see crap. Like,
And the streamers usually run on like really good settings.
Yeah.
Like I can't play with particles. Like my computer will fucking steam. But yeah, man, good stuff. It's fun.
I would say when you're, going against a top class opponent, you can never really underestimate them. You always have to develop new strategies, kind of like during the fight, you come up with new things, like the whole siege tower wizard thing. Like, always have to like figure out something new if you actually want to defeat them. It's always very unexpected when you're going up against like the S class guilds.
Understandable. Definitely.
So going back to V and Dot, or not Dot, Nari, I didn't mean to cut you guys off. Continue with that, V. I did not mean to cut you off.
I mean, as I was saying, I said way earlier that it was kind of like an awakening for us. Obviously on Orin we didn't have too much competition. But yeah, I think moving forward we're kind of reforming a little bit. We're looking into just better PvP evaluations, like teaching people how to play certain roles and classes a little bit better. And as some people on the stream pointed out, yeah, our members dropped, but we kicked like 5 guys yesterday to make room for new recruits, and it's definitely all like looking up for us.
oh, chat's going crazy right now. I'm sorry.
And Naria, what about for you? What was it like? What did you expect? Was it what you expected?
So a lot of people on Uno know that we don't actually do GVGs. We only really do Node Wars, and I don't like to waste my guild members' time. When I first went into this new world, I saw a lot of people saying like, "Oh yeah, we're gonna hunt barcode," and I said, "Good luck finding us in 36 channels because we're not gonna be there. But if you want to actually fight us, then show up to Node Wars." Upon which a lot of guilds actually dodged until the siege day yesterday, and we finally got to GPG some of the better guilds in the server. Going into Saturday Siege, I expected actually to have a uphill challenge against Man Up, and I thought a lot about different things to do against heavily geared people. But opposed to the other guilds, we actually had run-ins with their skirmishes, and we weren't really worried for GPGs against those guilds. One of the things that I noticed with Man Up's guild was that one, I know that there's a forum post out there with tier rankings, and Man Up was one of the only guilds that was ranked S plus, which is an honorable position to be in. And I wanted to go out there yesterday, even knowing that it will be an uphill battle, to take that spot, or at least be side by side on Man Up's level. And I went in there fully knowing our composition, thinking that in an open world, open fights, we'd be able to have advantage. But as soon as we actually went in head on into Man Up's guild, I very quickly realized that a lot of our tactics have to do with picking up squishes. All the wizards in the back line, all the sorks and rangers. When we went in there, the only thing that waited in the back line was a few wizards guarded by berserkers and tamers. They do not have squishes to really target down. and we panicked. We went into the fight and panicked, and we said, "What do we kill? Shit!" So we turned around and met their front line, composed of about 25, 30 warriors and sorks. And being Ranger Heavy Guild, we melted. And this is actually one of the issues that we are suffering from. We have a lot of Rangers, and one of the things that we're going to do is to talk to other guilds such as Vision and try to kind of merge with one of their top players so that we can actually fight against Man Up on an equal term at some point. Definitely was a challenging fight, and it was an eye-opener for us to kind of fight all these Eden top guilds. But we don't intend to be sitting here by ourselves saying, all right, well, we fought Man Up and that's it. We're second guild. We don't want to sit in that situation. We definitely want to push our guild gear up, and I want to make sure that we can challenge Mad King Lakari once again when the time is right.
Definitely. First, before I move on, I want to say congratulations to all of you guys. It was a hard fought battle between all of you, and whoever the victor was, it was well deserved. Everybody fought it out till the bitter end. Naria, how did your guild feel when it came time for you guys to 1v1 Man Up? I know you said you guys were like kind of like oh shit with the composition, but how was the morale overall?
Morale going into the fight was low to begin with. We definitely knew that we weren't going to come on top of that node war. However, I mentioned to my guild that we might have a little bit of advantage fighting in the open world because we have a lot of geared high AP players. And the tactic initially going in was to really juice up, pop all of the buffs that we can possibly pop and get that huge wipe at the beginning so that we have to pick off would have number advantage basically after the initial engage. But we realized very fast that they don't have many targets that can go down. And we did take the loss, but our guild morale isn't down in any way. We definitely are considering many different things. Right now, I think Barcode compared to Man Up, Man Up's motto is big damage, and I would suppose Barcode right now would be maybe medium, large damage. With the Vision merge, I think we can definitely push ourselves up to big damage and maybe even extra large damage, considering that we're always pushing ourselves up looking up to Man Up's damage levels. So I hope everybody in New World is ready for the new content that we're about to push out to everybody else.
Very
Heck
good, very
yeah,
good.
right on.
I'm glad to see that you guys weren't, didn't pull a goofy status. Oh golly gosh, we got to fight Man Up now. Let's go ahead and do this. But
Hold on.
it was really good to see you guys face off against Man Up, and especially Gravity and Man Up face off. It was entertaining from start to finish. FML versus Barcode, very entertaining. I liked what both guilds were doing on that side. The pushes, the defensive pushbacks, all that. But I wanted to pose a quick question to V about their fight with Gravity. How was that for you guys? Being the first time that you guys actually fought them in a 1v1 situation. I know we're dropping back here, but I really wanted to get some clarification on that.
Well, we fought them. It was like a Wednesday, right?
Yes.
So we actually had our GM was out that day. One of our shot callers was out that day. We had like a 60, 70 man pull that night.
Mm-hmm.
And I did speak to Gravity after. They were saying, Lyrla, you can clarify if I'm wrong, but you guys didn't have too many people either, but you did have at least 10 more than we did.
Yeah, we probably had I think it was like mid 70s, 75, 76.
Yeah, we really respect Gravity, and day one we kind of had like a almost 1v1 with them open world. I think Gravity is really strong. Gravity, I don't really know your players individually, but I know that you are definitely, as Orca said, the strongest siege guild. Or, sorry, I don't know if it was Orca anymore. It's been a long podcast. Yeah, you are so strong in sieges. I think your tactics were on point. You have so many wizards that are constantly just keeping not just our players down, but also like siege towers and everything. And that really crippled us as the fight went on. And I think it was about an hour and a half that we were fighting. And we just couldn't keep up in the end. Like player wise, we were down strat wise. You were stronger than us definitely, and we just took it as like a good fight, and we learned from it. And I think we showed that we improved this Saturday. So yeah, we appreciate that from you.
Gravity is so strong, and the King Lakari is a big elephant.
Oh God, so nice.
Thank you, thank you. What are your thoughts on that, Lorelai?
Yeah, Iconic was strong too. They were at a disadvantage. They had less people and they didn't have their GM. But it was good. It was good to just kind of like go out and fight. Weekdays are always kind of hard for every guild, I think, because people work and have school and stuff. But yeah, it's fun. Iconic's definitely strong. They have they're really good at like coordinating their pushes. They group really, really fast. So yeah, they're good.
Thank you. And I don't want to take up too much of you guys' time because I know I already robbed the majority of it and you guys are probably busy. I do have one last question for Dot, if you're still here.
Hello there.
Hi. Glad to see you're still with us. My question is to you, and overall, do you feel about your guild strength going forward?
That's a tough question. Obviously, every guild leader feels highly of their own guild. I think we're about an average guild. I'd say average guild to, kind of creeping our way up to becoming stronger. We're in no way on tier with Man Up or Gravity or some of these other guilds, but we're certainly trying to get there. We want to be competitive. We want to maintain that kind of atmosphere. So we're certainly trying to continue to push forward.
Definitely. And I don't really want to put you too much out of your element here. Do you think that, say, possibly in the near future, in a couple weeks, couple months, if you guys were to drop on the same node as, let's say, FML, Gravity, or Manip, or even Iconic, how do you feel you guys would perform against those guilds in a 1v1 situation?
You said against FML, Iconic, and what were the other names?
Man Up or Gravity,
Man
if you
Up?
were in a 1v1 situation.
I think we would definitely lose in a couple of the cases. In some of them, I feel we could stalemate rather well, or at least by a couple hours. But I don't know because it's been a while since it's been a 1v1 situation, so I can't say for certain how well we do. One thing we're pretty used to doing is having the turtle, so I think we would definitely be able to either stalemate or last a couple hours against some, not others.
All right, thank you very much. And I think now I had one final question for you guys.
I do have a question these are from the viewers. Famir wants to know, Lakari, when is another video to be expected? And I know a lot of people from Edan have been wondering this. They want to know what's going to happen next. What arc?
Well, I was planning on doing an Iconic arc, but I'm not sure anymore. I expected, actually, with all the hype coming from Iconic, and it's no offense to Iconic, but I expected you guys to be like a lot stronger. I was kind of disappointed when you lost to Gravity on the 1v1 Wednesday node. It kind of like got me down. I really expect you guys to at least stalemate that, but I can understand if you had like low turnout and whatever. That's expected, but I saw Iconic is at least being on par with Gravity, especially after their recent performance and digging antics and stuff like that, and how strong you guys came out. Like in the beginning, like when the servers first launched, you guys were doing super good in GVG. So like I got kind of down and like I stopped working on the Iconic video because I was like, damn, Iconic's like not nearly as strong as I thought they were.
Does
Shots
that
fired.
mean there's a Gravity or Barcode video coming up next?
I mean, even with Gravity, the Saturday fight, I actually expected it to be a lot harder than it was, considering the turn that was there too, and it was a 3v2. I didn't really get. I got some okay footage. See, maybe I can work with something. We'll see what I can do with that.
All right. Well, that about wraps it up for the Siege Wars results. And I want to thank all the GMs and vice GMs for coming out. And I want to thank you, Proot and Lorelai, for showing up, even though it was a little bit late. But I really do appreciate you guys being here, and I thank you guys for all your feedback.
Absolutely. Pleasure.
Thank
As
you
a
for
final
having me.
thing, sorry. And as a final thing, do any of you guys have any questions for any of the other GMs or vice GMs in here?
How would you rate your visit here at Baffling Black Spirit?
I actually had a question for V.
Yes.
V, you are the vice GM of Iconic?
Yeah, I think that's correct.
Okay, well, I know Man Up is looking for allies, so if you wanted to give me your Skype, we could probably.
Okay.
I'm gonna have to interject here. Initially, day one, I've gone and called dibs on V. So Shaq, I'm sorry, but I am.
Oh my.
You
All
are
right.
a
Let's
step
calm
late.
down. Let's calm down. I'm still single too, guys. So you please
Wait, I thought you were married.
that doesn't matter right now. All right. So are there any other questions for the GMs?
Yeah, if you wanted to try out for one of your guilds, what would be the process?
Ooh, that's a good one.
Level 60, 220 AP, no exceptions.
Damn,
No ninjas,
copy and
no
paste.
gamers.
Well, I'm
Copy
never
and
throwing a man out.
Copy and paste right from the clipboard. Any other of the Baffling Black Spirit crew members need to say anything? Questions?
I don't know. I came in late, so I don't know if this was covered. Why wasn't Trinidad there at the desert siege fight? Anyone know?
No, they just showed up. We know that they don't like men up, but they were just like they were in like the top right of the map, just like away from everything. We didn't even see them. I guess Barco took them out.
Yes, Marco did take him out. I felt that they were just there, they just dropped there. I don't know.
They should have dropped on media, to be honest.
Yeah,
So no one took
should have
media?
ripped for Brazil.
I would have figured Mana would took it, you know.
I mean,
I actually have a question for Lakari. With the recent events that happened with Samuel, are we satisfied with that? Has Barcode given enough tributes to kind of appease your grudge with Samuel?
Nari, I am very pleased with everything that has happened so far. You have
Can we get Vigor in here, please?
No.
Please.
Hell
Vigor,
no.
Don
Hell no.
Chocolate, and Grandpa. Let's
That's
do it.
not happening.
No,
That's
Vigor
not
is
happening.
permabanned.
That's pure
That's
cancer.
that's not happening. That one isn't.
Vigor's a handsome guy.
Unfortunately, Vigor's a handsome guy. He did nothing wrong. He's a wonderful human being, but we shall not have him in here at all.
Why are you lying to the man?
I do love you, Vigor, and if you're watching, I'm sorry.
This is my room now, Vigor. This is my room.
He's pretty cool though, but he gets a little imagination wild sometimes.
Imagination. So we've gotten a lot of stuff here for our viewers. We appreciate all the viewers asking questions, dropping by, giving the follows, and thanks to the GMs for coming out. I mean, this is one of the biggest Baffling Black Spirit episodes we will probably have for a while, and we appreciate you guys showing up, being civil. So with that being said, we're going to start moving on to our next segment, which is the Ninja and Kuno. Whoever wants to stay and discuss those are more than welcome. Whoever doesn't, you can exit right now, or you could just chill and listen. And I think also for Lakari, a bunch of the fans want to hear something about big damage. Can you fill me in a little bit on that?
I think they want you to scream into the mic.
I think they want some big damage, and I'm gonna go ahead and give you the go on that. We gotta feed them a little bit.
Poor guy, he's tired.
As for big damage, all I can say about that is say no to digging, death to gravity. Take care, guys.
Later.
All right, later.
So is that is that it for sieges?
That's it for sieges. We appreciate everybody coming up.
Say no to RMGs as well.
When did this started? Like 4?
Nah, 6, but you were too busy sleeping,
I'm
dog. I
sorry,
called
man.
you.
I
I
had
was
to grab my
sad.
next
car.
up.
All right. So
Next
moving on the next route, we are proud to present. We got Jody High Roller from FML, our Ninja Awakened guest, and then we have Mio from Web Shrouds, our Kunoichi Awakened guest. Guys, go ahead and introduce yourselves.
What's up? I'm Jody, the ninja guest, as noted. Yeah.
All right, Mio.
I'm Mio Ricky from Web Shrouds.
Oh God!
Doesn't even know his own guild.
He's
Get
gotta
outta
look
here.
for it.
I'm used to playing different game with different guilds, so because yeah. Anyways, I play Kunoichi though. I don't think I'm probably the best, but I'll talk about some of it. So.
All right,
Well,
so
guys,
what are we gonna go
so
over first? Kuno or
let's
Ninja?
go with Ninja first. I know a lot of the community has been wondering about Ninja. When are we gonna get our buffs? When is this gonna happen? You know, we're not an awakened class. This sucks. Wait till I get my burst damage. So starting with Jody, tell me about these burst damages that came, the buffs that came. What is it like? Did Cacao deliver on your class?
As far as like the base kit buffs that the ninjas have been complaining about, they haven't. The damage is still the same. But with the new kit, like if you have decent gear, if you're like above 200 awakened AP, you can like one combo anybody 1v1 except for like Zerkers, which feels really good because before the awakening you had to play so different. You had to run around and like play tag and do like 3 different combos to one combo somebody if they had any kind of resist going at all. So it's like a lot better now.
Nice. Let's go ahead and start maybe with the PvP aspect. What has it been like PvPing Awaken now? You said that now you just said that the damages are a little bit, they're still base. They haven't delivered on those. So tell me more about with your Awakened AP. Does it feel more bursty? Does it feel more as you expected it to be, or do you still feel like you're hindered in some way?
I feel like it could be a lot higher without being overpowered, but it's good enough. It's such a high, like, prior to, like, Awakening, it was the highest skill cap class in the game, and with this Awakening, I think it's, like, doubled that. And that's just my opinion, of course, and I play Ninja, so it's biased, but the damage is there if you have the kit and the AP and everything. With the evasion meta and everything, it's a little bit different, kind of iffy if you're going to one-shot or not, but I've been dueling a lot of people, a lot of geared people, and one comboing everyone except for Zerkers. If I hit both grabs, even just with one grab, I get somebody and they're like one-shottable, or I can just run away and my dots will kill them. The damage is definitely there.
Nice. And so now with Mio, also, I want you to add on a little bit. Kunos haven't really been a class where a lot of people talk about, you know, are there buffs here, all that, or at least I haven't heard. So tell me, what do you think about your PvP damage? Is it been what you expected?
As far as the original skills, yes, they're still missing the things, but the new stuff is definitely considerably higher. You get a lot more survivability with your super armor and then your forward guards as well, so it's pretty nice.
Right on.
I've seen a definite change in how well it is to fight people.
So for you, Jody, when you were PvPing originally, you had probably a standard set you used, whether it be boss gear or I don't know if you go full Grunnel, I don't know. So Awakened, for these ninjas out here who are now looking up to you in the stream right now, what would you advise them to go? If you can't go boss gear, what should a now awakened ninja go for PvP?
Well, I mean, as far as gear goes, bags are sitting on the market, and you need bags because people are running so much evasion. But other than that, you should just run like Heave probably until you can get Muskins, and then run 2-piece Heave until you have a full boss set and do that. But if you can't get any boss gear, I would just run Heave. Maybe 2-set Heave, 2-set Grunel, but bags are sitting on the market, you know?
All right, and for you, Mio?
Grunel seemed to work pretty well before I got boss gear, but I got most of the boss gear now, so I don't really know about the other stuff.
Okay, right on.
I have a quick question, if you don't mind.
Yeah, I got a question after. Go ahead.
Since now that you guys have your awakening and so forth, do you find yourself switching in and out of the awakening stance? And
More-
how's the transition with the damage?
Switching, I think that it probably switches more than like any other class in the game, at least for me, to stay alive and not get CC'd in a 1v1. Like I'm constantly swapping back and forth. And the transition, it's really, really terrible. Like there's one transition skill as far as I know, and feel free to whisper me in game if you know any others, but like Spin Blade is the only transition back into short sword, and you can't transition into Awakening stance with anything other than the bind. So you have to be like really quick and never like accidentally not quick switch. You have to, it's ridiculous. It's hard to do, but once you get the hang of it, it can be really good, but you're switching like a ton.
Right. Thank you. And what about you, Emil?
Most of the time, from what I've seen, the new skills are considerably better with the higher damage. You have a lot more survivability with the forward guard and the super armor. You get to keep a couple of your good skills like the dummy, the block dummy, and the concealment. So pretty much you can go concealment for the entire duration as well. So it works pretty well.
Very nice.
You can switch pretty quickly with some of your skills, like Cannon Cutter getting you into the old skill set pretty quickly, and then you can do your Lunar Dash to go back into Awakening pretty quick too.
Is there any other skills that you can transition from non-awakened to awakening besides from those?
Non-awakened to Awakening? Not that I really see. So.
Okay.
All right, Kanta had a question. Oh, my bad.
Oh yeah, this is a question for the both of you. Say like a new ninja, new Kuno came up to you for combo tips. What would you tell them, and how would you help them out with coming up with something that's viable in killing?
For me, at least, whenever people ask me about combos, like my playstyle is really grab based because the way PvP in the game works, at least for me, like CC is so RNG. Like getting through super armors and like just random catches I don't like. I kind of base my combos off of grab, and so I would like the average ninja. I would just say like to have every combo have Shadow Stomp in it. If it's off of grab, have your Shadow Stomp in it. Have Ankle Cutter and cancel Shadow Stomp with S plus F. Ankle Breaker, whatever it's called. I don't know. But I don't know. It's hard. You have to like type out combos, I feel like. If any ninjas need combos, feel free to PM me in game. Jody High Roller with an A on the end, not ER.
Oh.
Well, there you guys have it.
What about you, Mio?
Mainly doing the block dummy to get behind them real quick for the stiffness, but if they're going to be resisting a lot of the stuff, you might have to go back into the non-awakening and grab them real quick with your suicide fall. But other than that, a lot of your skills have sniffness and stun, though. It works pretty well for when you get behind them.
Right on. So what is the strategy now when you're awakened? Are you more of a concealed class, or do you feel more lethal as far as running head first with the proper gear? Start with Jody.
I mean, I feel like before awakening, it was super like you can run in, do your like 3 things, and have to get out. With the awakening, though, you can like stay in the cut now and like keep fucking with people and not have to run as much. You can really go head to head with like any class in the game and like stay in the pocket with them as opposed to having to run the entire fight. And even groups of people 1vx, and for like sieges and stuff, it should be really cool too.
It's pretty much the same thing for Kuno now. You have a lot more survivability. One of your good skills gets you about a quarter of your health back if you get a lot of them connected. So it gives you a lot of survivability. And then if you do get overrun, you always have the stealth to get out or the block dummy to get behind them real quick. So
right
now,
on.
I got a question.
Go ahead.
So when you're fighting a Zerg, do you feel that 100% heal is BS to you because you do all that damage and you see get it like all healed up in like a couple of seconds, or you really don't mind?
What was the question?
The health. You know how the Berserker now can 100% regenerate their health full bar, so no matter how many damage you do, it just like you did nothing. How you feel about that?
What, Zerkers right now, the heals?
Yeah, when you're fighting against them.
Oh, it's a joke. In my opinion, the Zerker class needs to be like completely good. I feel like it's super OP. The
Agreed.
heals
For
is a
real?
joke. I feel like their whole
Guaranteed.
kit is a joke. Like their kit is the best kit in the game. They
I feel
scale
like
unbelievably. It's a joke. They should be like gutted.
swords are a joke though.
Just my opinion. Nah, swords are
The
fine.
high
Every other
AP
class.
of the sword. Have you ever got
Every class
shredded by that?
All right, all
One
right.
shot,
Let's get back on
I
topic.
got a question for both of you too. And now that what's your new found survivability and damage, do you guys feel as if Ninja and Konoichi can bring a lot more to the playing field when it comes to node wars and siege wars?
As far as Kuno, I definitely think you do, since you have a lot more area attacks and you're just a lot more survivability. So
Yeah, I think the in Siege is like the new 100% Ninja ulti is really cool. You can like dip back line and like 50% like a group of 5 people. It's basically just like a giant warrior ulti practically. You can do some other stuff. You have some big super armor AoE abilities you can do and like get out and like dip in and out real quick. Especially if you have a good computer, like you can you can stay alive forever in a huge pack of people if you have a good computer and you're not lagging.
Let's talk about classes. And when I speak about classes for PvPing, let's primarily discuss for Jody and Mio, starting with Ninja first. What's the class you're not afraid to go against? That's the class you're going to be aiming for. What's the class you avoid?
For me, avoid Zerkers. Mooses are really easy to kill for me. Warriors are easy. Every other class is in the middle.
All right.
I guess I try to target the witches a lot. They usually don't put up too much of a fight. The warriors are usually kind of a pain, plus the Zerkers obviously, and then the Valks are just a pain because they're just so tanky. But other than that, they're not that much of a problem.
All right. Nice. Anybody else got another question before I move on towards the PvE segment?
Yes, Switchblade Baby asks, have you noticed that some of the skills are broken on Kuno? Like the forward dash block just doesn't work, Mio? Have you noticed that?
For me, it blocks every single time as far as I'm doing the forward dash. So I don't know exactly what they're talking about, but
People
it
are
works
saying
most of the time for me.
People are saying that you can still be knocked down during the.
Yeah, I think you can actually. I don't know if that's intended or not. Probably not, since it is a block. But it does seem to get knocked down sometimes on
It's
bosses and
probably
on other players.
it probably might be a frontal block. So if another class has a skill that hits, let's say behind also, or it goes through you, then there's a strong possibility that you may or may not get knocked down.
Right. It's a
So
forward
that could be the
guard,
case.
so it's not a full guard. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Moving towards PvE, what is the grinding better? Let's because I had an alt ninja one time and I just didn't like grinding on it. So what's it like Awaken now?
For me at least, like prior to Awakening, I had good gear, like 215 AP, so it wasn't like terrible. But anything under that, Valencia is like unbelievably slow compared to like other classes. But now with Awakening, I just tear through packs everywhere I go with 200 Awakened AP, so it's much better, really good grind.
As far as Kuno, it's just the larger area attacks plus the higher damage is just really good for grinding. So
With that hoop, her little ring blade, whatever you want to call it,
yes,
Cello Chakram, would you have thought to had gotten more AoE damage, or is it just the right amount of AoE damage?
I think it's pretty good. You have a lot more healing sustainability as well with it. So
All right, right on. What about world bossing?
for me, anyways, like most of the bosses, I can heal through any damage they do to me, so it works pretty well, and you do a lot of damage. Not to mention all the guards are pretty nice.
Yeah, world boss is a lot easier now because, I mean, Kuno already had a block, but we have a block now, so that's nice. And lifesteal abilities and whatnot, so it's chilling, pretty safe.
Like fighting Karanda or some of the harder hitting bosses, like Beg or Red Nose, I can still just be in there pretty much the whole time and heal through most of the damage they deal.
Now,
So-
would you guys? Now, would you guys say that your awakening is either independent or dependent on pre-awakening?
For Ninja, definitely dependent, in my opinion.
Kuno probably slightly dependent, but your newer skills are pretty good. So
I was fighting a couple a ninja and a kuno down at Sawson's, and the kuno didn't switch to short sword once throughout the whole battle. I don't know if they were just being bad or if
it doesn't seem very necessary. So.
Gotcha.
So with it being not necessary now, how's the group PvP for the two of you? Are you more inclined to jump in a group PvP session, or are you still going to stay on the outskirts, pick and peel, pick and peel?
You for ninja at least, you can dive in now with their new like key ability. It's on a 10-second cooldown. Fast cast does huge damage in AoE. You can just dive in, do it, and get out really quick. Diving into a big group has always been kind of possible, but you could never do any significant damage, and now you really can. So you don't have to play that like outskirt, grab one person, kill them, and run, roll anymore. Get them to half health and run before their team peels for them.
Yeah, you definitely seem like you bring a lot more to the group PvP, so you're able to dodge in there a lot more, and with like your spin heal you can heal yourself a lot through if you're attacking multiple targets.
So let's say for one-on-one, there are some new players who are going to either see this later down the road. They're watching it now. They're thinking about, hey, I want to do Black Desert. I feel like I could play a Ninja Kunoichi. I'm more in scenario. I'm more PvP oriented, is what this new player would say, and they would like to take on single targets. Kuno, Ninja, same gear score. Who's winning 1v1?
At least for me, there's only like one or two geared Kunos that I know of, and they beat me handily. But I don't know, not a big sample group to go from, and they're both really good. So
It's such a hard thing to say because I mean, like, you can never really have an equally geared, equally skilled two groups
player, yeah.
It just doesn't work, and there's no way to really test it, so nobody can ever know.
I think that both classes are going to give you what you're looking for if you're looking to play that like.
Yeah, I haven't really had a lot of experience with fighting the ninjas since the Awakening either. So.
Room C asks, can ninjas kill buildings by themselves now? Quick and smaller node wars?
Couldn't tell you. I don't know.
Okay, so what about maybe for Kunoichi, Mio?
Killing the buildings?
Yeah.
I didn't really have much experience either since the Awakening.
I feel like a solo Sork can do it with enough AP. Then I can too, because the scaling is pretty similar. Like the overhead Serpent Ascension is the ability's name, does a ridiculous amount of damage.
Right on. So with this being said, and now, what's the buffs you guys are looking for?
For as far as like balancing goes, I don't think that they need to really change Ninja much. Personally, I think that some other classes need adjustments, but I won't get into that. But as far as the kit goes, maybe adjust the base kit damage, like that big thread that everyone talks about on the Ninja forum, up all of our base kit damage to make some of those abilities hit a little harder. Other than that, I think the class is fine.
Yeah, I definitely agree. The old skills need to be brought up if they want to be competitive with the Awakening skills.
So you would say it's still necessary to keep some skill points into the original short sword and
Definitely.
use those skills.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right. I have about 900 over there that I have to have over there.
For the other classes, what are you guys' openings? I know Offended asks if a Valk wants to 1v1 a ninja, what do they need to look for as an opening?
We have like a super long range charge that we can start fights with in Awakened stance. We can like charge forward and then hit them with a big stiff from far away. So they just need to stay mobile the entire fight, stay within super armor or iframe or block. And if they're staying in block, be like aware of like just a stuck grab. Like we're gonna run up and try and grab you out of your block every time.
Awesome.
All right. What about for you, Mio? What type of buff would you like to see?
I thought I said the original ones, but the Awakening ones are feeling pretty good right now. So just the original skills probably.
And I'm getting a PM right now. What are the skills for Ninja that if you're 57, 58, what are the skills that you awaken?
Me personally, I did Serpent Ascension that like big damage ability, and I did what's it called? Murderous Intent. It's on a 3-second cooldown. It's like a really key ability to the kit as well. It's like a super armor slash forward. That is one of our only super armor abilities. So one of our 2 super armor abilities in the Awakened kit. So it's nice.
Do we have, Donzo asks, do we have any idea who the best ninjas and kunos are on NAR right now?
Oof. Not Donzo. Not Donzo. I think the top 3 ninjas are probably like Donzo, Mazap, and then third spot, I don't know. I think maybe me, but Comfort TM is really good too from Show Nation. Those are the best 4 in my opinion.
I kept getting PMs from a bunch of random people. I did a server shout yesterday trying to find someone to help fill a spot for the guest today for Ninja Kono, and somebody kept messaging me, about 3 or 4 random people messaged me about a guy named Drederick. I think that's how you spell it. I don't know if anybody's ever heard of this ninja. Apparently, they're stating he's the best ninja in A. I think they said he's from Orwin. I don't know if you've ever heard of them or Mia's ever heard of him, but his name's Drederick.
I haven't
So
really heard any other Kunos. Really.
Nah, never heard of him. But I'd love to fight him if he's good apparently. But best Kuno in my opinion, definitely hands down Paiz. P-A-I-Z. That dude's nutty.
So when you're giving new advice to your newly awakened classes, respectively, each of you, where would you tell them to focus their abilities first? What do they need to be mastering and learning how to do?
Movement and sticking grabs and figuring out what abilities will protect you from CC that don't say they will. Like Spin Blade protects you from CC, but it doesn't say super armor. And there's a bunch of other little things to the class, little tricks. You just got to figure out. Fight a lot of good ninjas to figure all that out.
Sweet.
But movement is just really key. You have to chain your movement abilities to stay super armored.
And what about you, Mia?
For me, I guess it's mainly mastering the ones that let you get behind your target real quick, and then use the ones that let you do your forward guard to help protect yourself. But after that, if you don't have any other abilities, you're probably gonna have to try to get out real quick, wait for the cooldowns, then get back in there.
So I'm hearing a lot of get behind your enemy, get behind your enemy. I'm sensing maybe there's a class play difference in between Ninja and Kunoichi. Ninja's more of a, well, now I have my awakening, I can go in, I can tear damage, I can do what I got to do, I'll survive longer. And Kunoichi's more of a, I still need to get behind my enemy, grab, stun. Is that sort of the right outline for those?
I mean, I'm spamming my wood block and getting behind just as much as anybody, but it's not
Yeah.
really what I call it, you know? I think that's what he means by getting behind people, just wood blocking. And,
Okay.
you know,
Yeah, wood block.
using your wood block correctly is literally the key to both classes. Like, it's the most important ability, one of them at least, of the whole kit.
You heard that here, viewers. Wood block. You better be practicing, along with movement and grabs. So, what about my other cast members? You guys got any questions for these guys?
Yes.
Go ahead.
I want to bring back the questions about the armor and like first somebody who first comes to the game. What set armor or what weapon would you recommend them using, and what levels should they get to get boss gear?
I mean, a fresh player to the game, it's like a whole long journey you're going on there. It's like, I would start with Grunel probably, or Heave or something. It doesn't matter because you like boss gear pretty soon. Beg's already seen the market. You just have to grind a ton of money out. Start with a Laverto, I guess. Grind a ton of money out, play all the time, get passive income and whatnot going. But just aim to get Begs and a Laverto, and you'll be fine. It'll all come to you eventually with time. All the gear and everything.
When you say bags, what are you talking about?
Oh, he's
Begs
talking about
gloves.
boss gear.
gloves.
Blazen's a new member to the BDO community, so we really bring him in here so he can ask questions from the perspective of a new player. We're
Gotcha.
trying to grow the BDO community. So on his last part of his question, what's a good level for a ninja or a kuno to sort of pause from leveling, grinding skill points, and start focusing on gearing up?
Probably 57, 56.
Yeah, and I mean, by the time you hit like 57, you should have enough money to start getting some serious enhancing going. You should have like 200, 300, 400 plus mil. I don't know. I haven't leveled a character in a long time, but that's where to leave you, and you'll have money to get stuff going around 57, yeah.
All right, McLulls in our chat has a question: is what is the biggest weakness of Ninja? And I'm gonna go ahead and apply this to both classes. What are your weaknesses?
Sometimes, assuming everything is like, I think the biggest weakness of for me is just like when the server shits on you. As far as the kit goes, there's no real weaknesses. Maybe the damage could be a little bit higher on the base kit abilities, and maybe you could have a little bit more mobility with the sword down stance in Awakening. You could use the 2-second dash ability in all stances. That would be nice. But weaknesses, it's just the server shitting on you and getting CC'd through your iframes is like the only weakness that I can think of.
I mean, like that applies to every other class.
Exactly, yeah. That's why it doesn't even really. I mean, that's
It's a,
really.
it's a blanket statement.
Yeah.
And then for Kuno, it's like if you can't sync those abilities properly on your enemy, not to mention, it seems like you're kind of squishy at times. So
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah, getting one shot. I mean, that's just how, because I've never played another class. I just look at it like if I get knocked down, I'm getting one shot. So a little bit squishy too. But I don't know. I don't run an evasion build, so I don't know.
Knowing what you know now about your classes, Awakening, would you re-roll if given the opportunity? Would you re-roll Ninja in Kunichi, or would you pick a different class? And we're talking about every class being the same, not any buffs or nerfs.
I really love the play style of the ninja class. I don't think I would ever play any other in the game.
as far as Kuno, I just like the playstyle of it, and it's a fun job to play. So fun class, whatever.
So now that we got some feedback, some reviews from Jody High Roller and Mio here, anybody else got any questions before I move on to the next segment?
Nope.
All right. So I really appreciate you guys coming out. You are more than welcome to stay with us as we start to move on to our next segment and discuss some things. I'm glad that we got this review because awakenings are very detrimental to in-game. And so for all the viewers out there who are lower than 56, or you need to learn how to gear up more, what you need to work on as far as identifying your weaknesses, these guys hopefully have helped expand your view and helped you learn your class a little bit better if you've not looked at guides already. So next, Aki's going to move on to showing us some Dark Elf footage. We had just recently received some crazy stuff this week. Character creation, new trailer. There's been information release. And for everybody who's listening, we appreciate you guys tuning in. And for the follows, this is going to be more of our speculation segment where we just talk about theories, ideas, perspectives. None of this is concrete. None of this is factual information except for, I think, one portion. So let's dig in, Aki. Show me that footage and let's discuss what is new with this Dark Elf and
So
Dark
if everybody
Knight.
could quickly tune into the stream and just hush up for a good 2 minutes as the trailer plays through. Now, the first thank you. The first half of this the first half of this trailer you've probably already seen, but the second half might be new to some of you as it was just released. And yeah.
I feel like Jason's gonna be in that woods.
Now here's the intense part.
That ass.
That ass. Oh, this is a rape video.
Huh?
Nothing.
All right, it's over, so you guys can talk now.
Okay,
So
I
it's
feel
over
like
for you.
I feel like
My potato chips broke.
she would go get raped in that fucking in that forest.
So when I see her like looking at the ranger, I'm getting a sense as if they're trying to hint that it's a counter to the class.
I wouldn't say so much of a counter. It looks like there is some type of bad blood between that Dark Knight and the Elven race. Because usually when somebody turns away from the light, they go dark. And that charge skill that she used, it sort of in a sense reminds me of if anybody's ever played Dragoness with Lunar Knight, where they had a skill called Half Moon's Flash. It was a huge charge up. It was your basic swordsman stance, and it was a huge charge up, and it was I wouldn't say it was more sort of a cone damage in a sense type skill, but it did a lot of damage. And I'm getting the feeling that they might do something that's in the sort of magic based, maybe a mix a little bit of a sword with some sword play.
I know that some people are saying it's completely lore based, saying that now apparently rangers are elves. I can't confirm.
They are.
Yeah,
Okay,
they are.
So there's bad blood. Let's see who said this.
Oh.
Oh, for real?
Y0B fail says there's
That would be cool.
bad blood between the elves and the dark elves, and that's cool. That's a good thing to say. I mean, like, totally valid.
I mean, you definitely could kind of sense it when they're staring face to face, and the ranger like lifts her sword up, and then the Dark Knight's like, "Come at me." You know, it's sort of a sense of there's something there.
I thought I saw traces of a portal. Do you think it'll be a little bit like the new Final Fantasy game where they use their weapon as a maybe jumper portal type weapon?
Oh, sort of like teleportation,
Mhm.
quick attacks, in and out.
Hop
That
from one spot and maybe back,
I
or
honestly see. Oh, sorry for cutting you off.
you could.
I honestly see her as a hybrid between Sork and a little bit of warrior, maybe some aspects of ranger in the future.
I think it's going to be a good mix between Blader and Sorceress. The offhand, by the way, is going to be a talisman, which is the same one that Sorceresses use.
I'm gonna go ahead and say I'm sensing more of a warrior blader combo. I mean, she's got a heavy two-hand sword. It's showing her running really fast in the woods, taking out her enemies. But at the same time, when we switch over to the character creation, you can see her do some attack animations, and it looks as if she's more rooted. You know, both feet are on the ground. She's swinging with all her might. So I'm really honestly thinking that it could be more of a rooted class, maybe not getting in and out, but letting the field know that they are there.
Yeah. All right. So, what do you guys are you guys gonna be playing this class? Is it
I'm
something that
gonna
interests you, and why?
You know, I'm gonna stay in the creation, the create. When you create the character, I'm gonna stay in there for a while.
I second his opinion. I feel that this class doesn't need to be leveled. It just needs to stay in creation, and get all your jollies from there.
Oh my god.
Because who doesn't like cleavage?
Oh, so why wouldn't you guys want to level this class? Is it because you're already invested and rooted in your classes respectively already? Or are you just not seeing enough footage to make you go, holy crap, that should be my next boss alt?
It's because of the ass. Like, why would you want to leave the ass? What kind of question is that?
I don't think I'm gonna be playing it because it's just in your face. You can't get rid of it.
Yeah, that's a lot of booty. Anyway, honestly, I think I would level the class because I actually really enjoy how her playstyle is looking. She seems more of like a heavy hitter with a little bit of speed to her, and maybe she'll have high mobility. I don't know. This is just pure speculation.
So Shadowcat has stated something. We don't know if it's official or not, but it says there is no awakening in the files at the moment. The offhand is listed as talisman in the game files. So Sork, maybe. Talisman, it's around the same thing. No awakening. I know most people might be a little bit saddened about that because they were wondering, well, why are they going to release a new class?
Well-
What's the Awakening going to be?
Well, it's still possible that they'll release the Awakening with the class release. Now, KR is actually doing a thing where it comes out, where if you pre-order the class, you get a level 56 character. You get to pre-customize
Pre-order
it,
what?
and I think that's
What?
it though.
Well,
What?
56 already?
Yeah,
Get
so
the
so
fuck outta here.
Get
so-
out of here.
So you can already make the class, and it comes as a 56. Now, it's not confirmed. I don't think it's confirmed, but if we're getting that in NA, how would you guys feel?
Is
I
this gonna be
really
like
would.
WoW?
Yeah, I
I,
would
I
really
would
hope
feel
that.
I would feel that would be like, wow, this will be like a hero class if we just automatically get the level 56. Like saying, hey, you don't have to learn the class leveling up. You don't really have to go through all the trials, but here, get this big booty ass bitch out there and just enjoy it.
Honestly, if that were in NA, I'd still probably level her just so I can learn how to play the class efficiently.
Second that.
It'll be like they hand you the class. Here's a class, level 56. All right. It has 500 skill points. Enjoy.
I would
That
be really
and-
upset though. I mean, why why do that with the Dark Knight and not the Ninja and Blader when they came over? When nobody got that feature, nobody got an automatic level 50 character. So why treat it special? Maybe just because they might rush it and not have an awakened weapon with it.
Because dark, never mind.
Yo, the jiggle aspect in that video is pretty nice.
Dude, BDO's got the best boob physics out of all.
Yeah, I'm
of us.
trying to focus and like you can't because just woo, 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 woo.
It's real bad over here. But I was thinking, well, we're not having a drought at this point in time, so nobody's anticipating this. I don't think as much as the Korean version. They've had a longer stint without a new class than we have. We just barely got Ninja, Kunichi, and so I think 6 months. There was an article that said that this is not going to happen anytime soon. So we're probably at least 6 months out, if not more.
They actually have a post on their Instagram that says
Oh,
the newest
go
class.
ahead and pull that up. Go ahead and
Yeah,
pull that up.
it says
Aki.
the
I got a
newest
question.
class that is.
Yep. What's the question?
This is a little bit off topic, but you were saying how the patches about the how they was not putting that like anytime soon. Have you noticed about the Valk's cry in the KR and how you can get like 100 fucking fail stacks if you pay to win? Have you seen that?
Oh, yeah. I don't know if I'd condone that. I would really hate to see BDO go towards that segment, and hopefully they would keep it towards the KR people. I wouldn't want them to bring that to NA to pay for fell stacks, and you could already pay for artisan's memory. So, I mean, granted, you'd have to spend a lot of money to get anywhere with that. It's still the fact that you can pay for, and most people go, well, quit whining, blah blah blase. But you spend a whole year on something, or close to a whole year on something, and then somebody can come in and they could cut that time in half and be just as good as you, even though they'll need skill with some money. I don't think. Someone says, I mean, you can only use 10 fell stack max with Valkyrie. You only get 10
so it's
max,
not
is
like-
what into alive.
It's not like you get a tet stack just by doing that. I want to redirect us back to the Dark Knight. They say it won't be out in the Western version for some time. Now, what is some time?
5 years.
I mean, they're being very
6 months. 6
6
months.
months.
At
I
least.
think I'm agreeing with Kashi. I'm thinking 6 months.
They're being so vague in this post. It says it won't be out in the Western version for some time and will announce a release date in the near future. Now, we're not that many patches behind KR. You got to understand
You're like
that.
3 to 4 patches behind.
We're not months behind them. They have the the naval content that we'll be getting pretty soon, I believe.
I'm
But
hyped for that.
6 months, I think, is a little. I think it'll be around early 2017.
I think it's later. I think it's 6 months is the earliest, and I would think. I'm gonna say I predicted June on the last podcast, and I'm gonna stick with that estimate. I'm gonna say June.
Now, Indie Dude says end of the year. They want to catch up to KR before the end of the year, and that is what Cacao and Dom did say near the release, that we're going to be caught up by the end of the year. Now, end of the year is closing in very, very fast, but maybe in the first couple months we'll be completely caught up and we'll be getting patches with KR.
I think unfortunately the strategy might have changed, because if that were the case, wouldn't we have already gotten Norv? I don't know how to say that. Nerve.
What?
The boss, the dragon.
Nover.
Yeah, that was supposed to come out last month. And
No,
then-
that was supposed to come out in October. It was
Like-
supposed to come out in October.
Yeah,
So I'm
and it
pretty
was supposed to
sure
come
they
out-
backtracked on the obligation on the
it's just
confirmation that
Nouveau.
we're.
It's
No,
weird
but like
because-
a lot of
October.
people are messaging in chat.
It was October,
Sorry.
but they pushed it for November, and they still haven't brung it.
I think once they release the Final Awakenings, maybe we might get it next week. Well, not this week, coming up, but the week after with the last two Awakening, since they're probably more than likely going to do a double Awakening, and then for the new year, we'll probably look to see the Oceanic patch, and then
Mhm.
as it goes down to past, towards the end of Q1, maybe I want to say probably like April, May, we'll look to see Dark Elf possibility, but you never know. There might be delays. They might push it off a little bit for summer. You really can't really tell, And at this
How
point,
long
it's
did
only
they delay
speculation.
Ninja for? They delayed Ninja for how long?
It was a couple months they delayed Ninja for.
You guys are wrong.
Quick thing. For the Nuber boss, I already heard you get knowledge on that. So if we could find out where it's at,
I think it's in Sangrain. I think I heard someone say that you can get knowledge in Sangrain. I'm not sure on that. We could probably have somebody, if anybody in the stream wants to fill us in what they think. I'm pretty sure I heard in Sangrain you can grab that knowledge though. Knowledge. But what would you say if by the end of the year they don't release Nova?
You gotta get our torches and pictures, and
Okay,
go
so
quick. Yeah.
stream is saying Nova at the Oasis. So you can already go ahead and get knowledge. So maybe it'd be smart for people to go ahead and put an alt there and try to get an S grade so that you can go ahead and get your secondary legendary, your AP secondary legendary right off the gate. Because I'm sensing it's going to be a dry spell for the market for a very long time.
Yeah.
When those come out, especially people who want to stay competitive, you're looking at unless somebody just needs the money right then and there, it's going to be a while.
I'm saving all my GM blessings on my you get that 20% that little thing get from a yeah. And then I'm gonna try and get this, because as a berserker I'm gonna need that AP.
AP
Chat
for
says,
life.
Chat says you can buy it for 30 energy. Maybe.
What?
Wait, like the
No,
item?
you can't buy the knowledge. I think it's an Amity game.
It could be an Amity game, especially for resets. I think to maybe unlock it, people are saying quests. I'm getting a bunch of PMs saying quests. You could do the Valencia quest, and you'll be able to make your way towards getting that knowledge. And then if you want to reset it, then it's probably 30 energy or something of the sorts. So and with Nova, since we're on the topic, Nova has 3 spawn points. So
I heard there was only be one.
Yeah, I think they did change that to one spawn point. I think.
Okay. If it's 1 spawn point, okay, that makes it a
I
lot
think.
easier.
Don't
If
quote me
they
on that.
don't though, if this is skeptical, there's 3 spawn points still. Let's say hypothetically speaking, boss alts, streamers, viewers, get on your boss alts after you have reached a limit. Now I'm not talking about, getting them to 57, 58 and decking them out, but try to get something on there because you never know, you'll be gathering in Trent or doing whatever you're doing down there, farming for accessories, and then boop, you see that notification. Well, you need to get all the way to the desert. Best thing to do, start using boss alts. And since we're on the boss alt topic, if anybody has any other tips on what to do with boss alting, because I think this is very important to let the streamers know they need to learn how to boss alt properly. Otherwise, you're going to be wasting XP,
What's a boss
gems.
alt?
A boss alt is you create a character, get it to like 55, 56, get it a decent amount of AP. What I usually do is so that you can go ahead and have an alt there like for example, when I'm out grinding in Valencia and Corona pops up, I go ahead and hit escape. I go to disconnect. I switch to my boss alt that's already at Karanda, so I can get an earlier foothold at doing the Karanda boss.
You know what's salty about that? I got a level 14 witch who gave me Danny at Karanda.
What? So you don't think you have to go all the way?
I mean, and like if you want a higher chance, I was just fucking lucky, just putting it at that. But I think DPS really does it well, but also RNG.
RNG is a big factor at BDO.
Yep.
I think the way it used to work in KR was there would be a cloud that would spawn where Nuver was gonna spawn, like 30 minutes before he did, and then you could go there and he'd spawn. It would be like a big storm. But people are saying that either they removed it or it never did happen, and it was just a rumor.
That would be kind of cool though. Make the world feel, because I mean, Zarka comes out of the shrine and Karanda comes from the sky. It'd be really cool to hear some lightning or something, and bam, right there, you gotta go. You gotta go find over.
I mean, the only thing I hate about that is the fucking desert buffs. Like, I'm the type of person that won't look down like, oh, yo, I'm dying because of that. I'm the type of person that was like fight and just not, it's my bar getting you buff. So 10 out of 10, I'll be dying in the desert. Like, what the fuck just killed me? And, it's
You better
harsh.
start carrying waters. You better start carrying waters, man.
Man, some bullshit.
You're gonna be down because of that Dark Knight thirst.
I think sorry to interrupt you guys. I think somebody said something in chat about Kudum. For those of you guys that don't know about Kudum, or you don't know where Kudum is located at Scarlet Chamber, and it's sort of out in the desert. Well, towards the actual entranceway, it's not in the desert per se, but once you get inside the chamber, it becomes the desert. Now, when you do this, there's 36 channels. What did you say, Harambe?
They removed the desert debuff.
Yeah, I know they removed, but it's still because you can't navigate to your horse. I don't think you can navigate to your horse. Let's say if your horse is outside and you're downstairs, you can't really navigate to it.
Not really.
So in the sense that's why I said that. But since there's 36 channels, I know there's Kudum trains that start from value 1, and I think there's 2 groups that usually does it, and one group will start from the odd channels and the other one from the even channels, if I'm correct. And if you don't have any way of staying updated with these boss timers, or don't know when they spawn, or if you haven't been in game and you didn't see the message that Kudum is spawned, you can there's two discords. From one that I know for sure, and a lot of people use is EWB, Eden World Boss. I think they changed the name to Eden Boss NA or something of the sort. So you can always try to get into that Discord and have the Discord running in the background, whatever the case is, so you can stay updated with those boss timers. And they have a lot of helpful information in there that you guys can use, especially if you're a new player coming into the game and you're trying to get into the BDO program and how things work in the game. That is a very good starter help for you. And there's a lot of nice people in there. There are some trolls, of course, and they have the chat separated. So if you don't want to deal with the cancer, you can stay in general chat and avoid cancer chat. So that's one thing to throw out there too as well.
All right, we're a little over time on the podcast, so if anybody wants to get some thoughts in before we end the stream and head away.
Question.
Yeah, what's up?
About the siege is, why was the turtle dad there? Like, what's the reason? That just makes me just feels weird.
I
That's
think
all.
we already answered that earlier. Somebody said that it turned in didn't like. I think they said man up, so they showed up.
But the score though, like 53 kills and 288 deaths. I mean,
sometimes it happens, man. It happens to guilds.
Damn.
It's just the way PvP can happen.
The way it is.
Just the way it is. So I just got one. I got something on Nova. Someone said Nova or Knowledge Quest NPC is Eugene, and the conditions is you must finish the quest Brit's Journal. He's the stable keeper in Ibalabad Oasis. I can't pronounce that, and I'm not even gonna try. But I appreciate the PM on that. So you heard that, guys. It's Eugene, the stable keeper at the Oasis. Go get your Nova knowledge. Go ahead and get that stuff for
Get 'em
bossing.
today.
It's
Get 'em today.
hour and
And
over.
also,
You
sorry
get
to interrupt you
one.
guys. Roomsy had a question there. To answer your question, Roomsy, I don't I don't particularly know what was it about, but I'm assuming that it was just basically post node or siege war review with the guild leaders, and I guess it's something new that they started doing. I don't know if they've done it before, but it seems relatively new to me, and it's something that they are doing to review and see what they could have done better, how the overall fight progressed and turned out in that sense. So, and if it's something that's new that's starting to be done, they started doing, I think it's a really good thing, especially for all the GMs to get together and talk about things that they could have done better, or things for the possible future, so forth. If they want to talk about alliances, possible mergers, whatever the case is. Overall, I took part into it last night. I listened to what was being said. It was relatively interesting, and a lot of the viewpoints that some people had to say. There was some trolling, but overall, it was well put.
Anybody else got anything to say before we move on to the last bit of the podcast?
Yeah,
That
my,
was
my
a
name is
big
Harambe. I
Hey.
forgot to welcome myself. I was late. I'm sorry. I'll, I'll still kill you at Sausage.
In your dream.
So guys, this is the end of our podcast.
Wait, I got some say.
What do you want, can't
Wow, rude. Anyway, make sure you guys set up them ball salts. It's either now or never.
Oh my God!
no.
Please
Don't
stop.
forget to follow the podcast. So when we about to stream. And I come online. We also have a Twitch, a YouTube.
This is the Twitch. This is the Twitch. Let me do the exit. Let me do the exit. So we appreciate all the positive feedback, guys. If there's anything you would like to see, like impersonations, jokes, puns, whatever, anything you think that would add with the comedy, anything you think that would add to our stream to help bring the BDO community together, we're here for that. We got a Twitter.
Somebody said more Dark Knight ass. Guys, calm down.
All right, go ahead and shake the ass for them one more time before they gotta go. Aki, shake that ass like a solid shaker.
Shake that ass for me. Shake that ass for me. Come on.
Shake that ass. But we got a follow button. We have a Twitter. Our Twitter will go ahead and let you guys know when that's going down. When anything that we're probably going to cover possibly for if we continue to do Wednesday shows, and our next Sunday shows. We have a YouTube. We got all the stuff will drop down there for you. We appreciate all the positive feedback. And if anybody else wants to say anything, that's it today for Baffling Black Spirit.
I got something to say real quick.
All right, let Panda.
So since everybody's here still tuning in, we're still thinking about some things to do for the podcast, but I think probably by the next year we'll have probably do a New Year's contest, best dress. What do you guys think about that? The winner gets a lot of in-game consumables. Does that sound maybe like 10,000 beer, food,
like a fashion show?
Like a fashion show, a fashion New Year's show.
Oh,
What
yeah.
do you guys think about that?
Oh yeah, I am so down with that.
If you're down with that, I guess you're providing the 10,000 beer.
I'd be really cool with that, sir.
I'm gonna make that beer right now. I'm gonna butter it up, and put it in the oven.
You boys be keeping me in the kitchen cooking beer.
Oh, you damn right you staying in the kitchen. I'm just
so what?
In the basement. Thank you very much.
Oh my God! All right.
I'm trying to say something.
What's up?
Yeah.
But we'll talk about it. We'll keep you guys updated on Twitter, and we'll also make a post about it on the forum within the next couple weeks here, so you guys can get prepared for that. Get your character customizations in line. Get your costumes so you guys can look fly. All that stuff. Come hot to the show.
All right.
The last fashion show I did, there was a McCreed cowboy who showed up as a muscle who looked at like just McCreed in Overwatch. So that was pretty cool.
I want to see some Junkrats. Show me some Junkrats, people.
I'm right now.
All right. Well, that's it for the stream, folks. Shut it down, Aki. They got it.
Wait.
Thank you guys so much for coming out. Really appreciate you guys tuning in and staying it through. And we'll see you guys neys time.
Love you.
If you guys want a bag of chips, follow me on Snapchat.
Shut the fuck up. Later, guys.
Adios, my
Oh my
dudes.
god.